Good morning, everyone. This is Dan. Welcome to Engelgeist. For those of you that are new, welcome. For those of you that are returning, welcome back. For those of you that support me over on Patreon, thank you so very much for your subscriptions. This is the weekly forecast. It is for all signs. It is a collective reading, so I do speak in broad terms. You need to figure out if and where this reading fits in your life, if at all. If it doesn't fit, or it doesn't make sense, or doesn't seem to resonate with you, that's fine. It doesn't mean anything's broken or wrong. You're still on your path. It just may not be your reading. It's originally created for the week of Sunday, the 8th of December through Saturday, the 14th of December. But it's not solely set for that time, in the sense that if you're seeing it, I believe all readings can be timeless. So if you're seeing it at a different point and it still makes sense to a situation you're dealing with, by all means, utilize the reading in however you need, okay? For those of you that are new, please check out the drop-down menu underneath any of my daily videos. In there is just some housekeeping rules, things I want you to think about when utilizing the channel, what decks I'm currently using on any of the videos, and how to follow me on social media or reach out to me for a private reading if you're interested. I will never solicit you for a reading, so make sure if anybody ever contacts you pretending to be me, it's not me. And then also easy ways to support the channel. One way you can do that is if you're enjoying the content, please hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, and also share the video out and leave me a question or comment. Alright, let's see what the cards want us to know. What does Spirit want us to know for the week of the 8th through the 14th? And just so you know, like each card is from the tarot deck is supposed to represent about, 2 to 3 days of the week. You might experience, just one of these cards or all of these cards and then some this week. Timelines can be completely fluid, so, it really depends on how fast you're moving through things. So, kind of like a take what you need, leave the rest sort of reading. All right. Okay. So, for the beginning of the week, we have the King of Cups. I think it's funny because we've had a lot of Cups energy all through last week's readings. We have that full moon in Cancer that just happened, and, the Cups still seem to be radiating. There's still this focus on creativity, emotion, love, psychicness, and actually, this morning's video that went live this morning, one of the key elements in it was the clarifier, which was the King of Cups sitting in the center of the clarifiers. So now we see his energy kind of emanating through the underpinning of the beginning of the week, right? The King of Cups is going to be emotional, but he's going to be... My feeling with the King of Cups is he can be a bit... At times he can be emotionally guarded, but he's well aware of his emotions, but he's not going to let his emotions override him, right? He's going to stay in tune with how he feels, and I get this sense of like sort of protection from him rather than a sense of, overwhelmed by our emotions. Like, if any of the court cards could be overwhelmed by their emotions, I would think it would be more so the Queen or potentially the Page, but with this King, I feel like we feel in charge. We get to make the decisions of where we go, how we feel, what we choose to focus on, certainly emotionally, right? And we're in charge of that. I do get this feeling of a little bit of nostalgia from him, just by the way he's sort of positioned straight forward at us, but he's kind of looking away to the past. There might be something that we're leaving behind emotionally in the early part of this week, or trying to reconfigure our emotions around it, but we're doing so from a place of authority, from empowerment. We're in control of this, is my feeling. With this being a king, we get to make these decisions and set the pace, so to speak, emotionally. And there's also, I'm going to say this. There's this red, like octopus thing. Do you see that going around his foot, like pulling him into the future? If some of us feel torn emotionally, like we're still kind of trying to make emotional sense of the past, and we're feeling like we're being pulled towards a different future, because it's interesting, he also has these two different cups. One's not quite in his hand yet, and there might be one in the past that was in his hand. If some of us are contemplating still in the early part of this week an emotional situation that we've left behind maybe in 2022, or even from the full moon, because full moons are about release, there's something that we don't quite know about yet in our future that we might be a little bit afraid of or don't feel like we actually have a hand on. Look at that hand, almost like the cup is there, but we're not aware of it. We're looking at the other cup. And then that this octopus feels to me, I know this is gonna sound silly, but it feels like spirit pulling us forward or telling us it's time to go. Let's go. Come on. Get out of the past. Let's make sense of it and let's move forward. Maybe forward into the week, into the month, into the year, but it's time. Do I feel like we'll be successful in it? Yes, because this is the King of Cups. He's not going to be, bogged down too much in his emotions. I feel like he will make that decision and he will, head towards the future once he kind of, comes to terms with whatever he's contemplating. But we definitely have the authority, the ability, and the emotional intelligence to be able to do so and to find a safe, not safe, I don't know if that's the right word, but a stable awareness of how we feel emotionally and then own it from there. Now let's look at the midweek card. Hey, Eight of Wands. Okay, we're ready to move. So emotionally, maybe at the beginning of the week, we're kind of doing a little bit of contemplation and settling still, owning our emotions, tapping into our intuition and really owning it from a real stable, secure place. Eight of Wands is about that fiery energy of forward movement. Oftentimes the Eight of Wands can be a message of love or appreciation, right? But to me, this is like putting our mind to work now that we know how we feel and we really own how we feel from the early part of the week. We might find ourselves creating a lot of energy, taking a lot of steps forward in situations or relationships or decisions that we're making, because this mind is definitely highlighted here as the pieces of the brain are lit up there in the different colors. We're looking at the goal and we're taking aim and getting ready to shoot forth, or if not already shooting forth in the midweek, or taking steps or action. That's always Wands energy. It is fire, it is dynamic, it is our desire, right? So we're ready to move forward, and we feel with that King of Cups at the beginning of the week, I feel like we are emotionally sound enough, or we did the emotional, solidification, so to speak, in the early part of the week to be ready to now set our mind to it to move forward. And we're moving forward with direction, precision, even I almost get this sense of relentlessness. Like these almost feel like, not daggers, but like arrows in a sense. Like I feel like we're pinpointing our goal in the future. Spirit's not tugging on our foot anymore. We've turned full around and now we're aiming for what's next. We may not even know what that next is. We might even be just tossing wands out there to try and find out where they land and see what our options are available to us. But our mind is in tune with that and we're ready for it, is my feeling with this card. Now, the end of the week card, oh Jesus, is the Tower. Bum, 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 bum. What do I always say? This is major arcana. Tower is associated, I believe, isn't it Scorpio? I think it's Scorpio. Or it's either Scorpio or is it Uranus? Although my Uranus is really nice. I'm just kidding. Tower is things falling apart, things shifting or changing, scenarios and situations that aren't built on firm foundations, essentially coming apart. Okay. Tower is oftentimes a card that's looked at with fear. I don't necessarily see it that way. You guys know I always say let go or be dragged when I see the Tower, because it's kind of like the Tower is always an opportunity for us to find faith, to find belief, to flow with the stream of energy, or with the shift, or with the change, or with the destruction, or with the dissolution, the dissipation, the whatever's falling apart around us, right? And it may not even be ours directly. It can be, we can watch other people's lives fall apart in front of them, right? But it's not our job to sort of step in and try and fight against those changes for them or for us, right? Say if we feel like the ground underneath our feet is shaking, and I mean that metaphorically, right? I kind of get this feeling that it's almost like, because of that King of Cups and that Eight of Wands, which is sort of like the emotional sort of settling and stabilizing of ourselves emotionally, and then setting our mind to something by the midweek mentally through the wands. And wands is not a mental card, but it's desire, it's spiritual desire, right? So there's this, emotional feeling from the king that triggers off this pinpointed desire, that also that mind, that picture of the brain in the Eight of Wands makes me feel like the mental realm is involved in this too. It may be what triggers this tower. Those two cards may be what triggers this sea change or shift. For some of you, it could be quite disturbing and turbulent. But for some of you, and this is what I mean by let go or be dragged, it's really how we approach the tower or how we ride the tower out, right? When we resist against any sort of tower moment, like the dissolution of something that's not built on firm foundations, and we resist letting it go, letting it transform, letting it change, because that is like a constant in the, just in the natural world. Everything changes, evolves, dies, and then is reborn, right? If we don't allow the shifts and changes to occur, then we feel the struggle, the pain, the anguish of that experience, because the entire time our energetic vibration is in resistance to it. And oftentimes I think the scary part of the tower is that it's something that's outside of our control. But it's really not, in the sense that if we align with the tower moment and we let the chips fall where they may, and we move with the changes, allow the changes to inform us rather than fight or resist against them, we can actually move through the tower moment that much easier, that much quicker, and actually it can be a gift instead of a curse, if that makes sense. It's kind of like it has the opportunity to be, yes, it's this tower falling apart on fire, but it can also be a phoenix from the flames moment, right? Where a rebirth takes place. And I always say this too with the tower, is like that idea of nature abhors a vacuum, in the sense that even if something falls away, don't worry, something new will fill that space. Whether it's a relationship, it's a job, it's a friendship, whatever it is that could be falling apart or slipping away or transforming in front of our very eyes in ways that we didn't expect or see coming, allowing that to transform with ease and grace is really where we gain the most knowledge, wisdom, and sort of spiritual growth from these tower experiences. They're always meant to ultimately bring us the peace of the star afterwards, or that ability and that awareness, the healing that the star offers, that understanding of this was not meant for me, or this was built on a faulty foundation, and now it's time to rebuild something different, new, more sturdy, and more in alignment with how we feel, think, and spiritually desire. That's my feeling for this week, guys. I don't want all of you to think that your life is going to fall apart at the end of the week. It's not, per se, but it is. There is going to be some sort of, I would say, major shift or change. But look at that major shift or change as an opportunity. Look at it with curiosity rather than fear, right? Look at it with excitement or of the unknown rather than fear of the unknown. I know that's easier said than done. And if this is happening to somebody around us, if we're watching it happen to somebody around us that we care about, we have to honor their experience and their we have to honor their experience and their process or their path by not trying to build this tower back for them or hold it together for them on behalf of them. We can hold space for them, right? We can watch from the sidelines and be there to catch them. But we can't fix this for them, is my feeling. Again, it's another, oh, my throat chakra is just like choking up. Again, it's similar in the energy of, if it's happening to you, turn yourself towards it or open yourself towards it and allow it to transform in front of you and inform you. And then you are malleable and you can adapt and change with the changes, and it's less painful and it moves more quickly. If it's happening to somebody else, allowing them to have that process and go through it, and like silently holding space or quietly holding space on the sidelines, for being there for them when you need them, when they need you, I mean, is far more powerful and gonna do them more service than trying to keep this, whatever this represents, alive or standing, if that makes sense. Now let's go to the absolute affirmations for the week. I am in control. We're not when this tower happens, so don't get me wrong on that one. I have to say this. I love that this I am in control, the background matches sort of the pink of this King of Cups, and also these pastel-y colors that are in here too. So I think this is more about in the earlier part of the week. I don't feel like we may feel like we're in control by the time the tower arrives, if the tower does arrive for you. And remember, like I said, you're all on different timelines, so some of you may not even experience a tower this week or a shift. And towers don't always have to be bad shifts, although this card looks very ominous. And this is pinpointing to the future. What I like about this, before I even read the back of it, I'm going to tell you like the symbolic stuff that I love about this. I love the pastel colors. I love that the paper plane is a creation of our own hand, right? Like, in other words, to create a paper plane, we have to take the time to think about it, fold it into its shape, mold it, and then set it off, right? So I love that idea about it. I also love this sort of pinpointed nose on the plane, like it feels directional, similar to this Eight of Wands. How these felt like little missiles or bows being shot out. Desire, spiritual desire. I'm going to say this, it's interesting because we have the King of Cups here. I haven't even read this card yet, sorry I'm rambling. We have this King of Cups here, which is about emotional, like sort of well-being or settling, in my opinion, about like becoming more stable and understanding and aware, and like divine masculine in our own emotional, which is a very divine feminine area of our lives. But the masculine is working there in this space. I wouldn't be so surprised if by the midweek we're shooting off rockets of desire, to use an Abraham Hicks kind of terminology, that we may be aware of just as thought, but we don't understand that it is rocketing off these spiritual desire wands out into the sort of universe, similar to this paper airplane, which sets off this tower moment or these sea changes or shifts that in our life that we didn't see coming or didn't expect. And what we don't realize is from this tower, if we just embrace it and let it transform, it's bringing us closer to what we truly desire emotionally and spiritually than we realize. I'm just going to say that for the more like esoteric or higher thinking message from these cards is my feeling. Let me read this to you. You are seated in the cockpit of your life, and you serve as its brave and fearless pilot. If you experience turbulence, remember your position at the controls and adjust accordingly. That adjust accordingly is let go or be dragged, guys. And adjust accordingly to navigate through any trials and tribulations with ease. You have full command of your destiny. I do believe that's true. But I also believe that we don't have full command of all of the other aspects or other people's destiny. And that's what I was saying. If we're watching somebody else go through a tower moment, we may just have to let them, right? I also forgot. Jesus, I'm like off today. I need to shuffle the clarifiers. Give me one moment. I forgot. And then the next card I think is very interesting is I'm a masterpiece, which is a mirror. So we can be potentially mirroring things back to people during this time. Just be aware of that. Or they can be mirroring them to us, informing our decisions about how we feel about something, which direction we want to head. I almost get this funny that it's that green eye on the tower too. It feels like, I don't know if we're unconsciously manifesting something this week. And it's pushing us into the future in ways that we didn't see coming. I don't think that this is bad. I don't get a bad sense about this, but I think that the tower is usually an unexpected occurrence. And I feel like there's some For some of you, let's just say this, for some of you, and I could be included in this, some, I don't know, but I feel like the message is that as we get more stable in what we want emotionally, we start setting off these spiritual desires, thoughts, communications, out into the sort of the energy field, and we don't realize that we are in control, and we are heading into a certain direction that requires us to shift out of other things that we thought maybe would be around, but they're no longer in vibrational alignment with us. I hope that makes sense. The other thing I forgot to do today, I'm a little off this morning. What is driving this? Oh, interesting. Prince of Discs. So that is the Knight of Pentacles. I'm not mad at him being here, to be honest. With the King of Cups and the Knight of Pentacles, Cups and Pentacles work very synonymously to one another. He's also a very stabilizing energy. He's slow and steady wins the race. This may not feel like slow and steady energy that we're going through this week, but with him down beneath it, it's like practicality, discernibility, making the decisions in the moment, and I feel like, to me, this feels very kind of fast and furious, yet he underpins all of this, the Knight of Pentacles. So I think that what's happening is foundations are falling around certain situations because we have something pushing us for a more steady, firmer foundation in the long run, if that makes sense. I'm not saying that we're going to move slowly. I like that the Knight of Pentacles is underneath this because we are seeing the Tower this week. This is about getting our feet back on terra firma within our relationships, our job, whatever it is that's shifting or changing. The Knight of Pentacles kind of, to me, is this, that's like sort of the subconscious, right? That's what's sort of, we deeply desire, and we're figuring that out emotionally, and then setting off those rockets, so to speak, and creating the change. All right, let's go to the clarifier. Sorry, I've gone really long today. We've got the Nine of Pentacles. She's about independence. She would tie nicely to that Knight of Pentacles that's underpinning all of this from the subconscious. This is the grand goal of having everything that it is that we want. She's oftentimes associated with the sign of Virgo, which is Earth too. But she's grounded. She may be alone, right? So some of us could be losing friendships or relationships or things of that nature through this Tower. But there's ultimately this goal here of we have ourselves and we have everything that we need, and we're grateful for that. And nines are about personal completions with a situation. So that would also indicate a little bit of like maybe why a Tower situation would be coming forward towards us or around us. We have the Two of Pentacles. Oftentimes about a decision that needs to be made. Which route do we take? Let me see what the third card is. And the Chariot, we're going to know the route. Cancerian energy, this is all tied into the moon. This is all tied into the full moon, guys. Like the whole energy for the week is tied into the full moon. And I feel like a choice is being made. It's a choice that's material or in our 3D world. And it's a choice that's going to lead us. He's pushing the choice here. Sorry to slam those cards like that, but he is pushing the choice way deep underneath this. The Prince of Discs or the Knight of Pentacles. He's underpinning like the depths of this whole underpinning reading, right? He is the subconscious. He's slow moving, he's steady, he's practical. He's going to move us in a direction that might be a little scary. That's also the Tower. But we've come into an emotional like feeling or an awareness or an understanding, and we're ready to own that emotional feeling and awareness and move forward in it. And this Chariot says that we move forward also. The Two of Pentacles to me feels like we're picking a path, or we're picking a choice, or we're making that decision based on what's best for us rather than maybe others. And we do need to remember that we are in control during this whole time, even if things shift and change in ways that we feel outside of our control. I want to read this. I am a masterpiece. You are a one-of-a-kind work of art. Everything about you is intentional. Accept your uniqueness and put it on display for the world to see. There's something about this this mirror too, and I don't know why, but it keeps drawing my eye down to the desk. It's almost like there's something inside of our soul or our subconscious that might be reflecting out into the world around us, and we need to be aware of that and understand that even though as things shift or change, we are in control and we are moving forward. We do need to make the decision. We need to make the decision from a place of independence, well-being, security, even nurturing. That's the Cancerian energy of the Chariot. And then allow ourselves to be moved forward. We have the Eight of Wands and the Chariot, plus this paper airplane. It's a lot of like, let's go. Now that we've made the decision, let's take it there, right? We may not be able to move as quickly as we think because the Knight of Pentacles is underneath this and the Tower is happening at the end of the week. But we are going to get there, is my feeling, with all of this Pentacles energy and the determination of the Chariot and the Eight of Wands. And that pinpointiness of the paper airplane just feels very like there's a scope on this. All right, let me go to the grounding stone. I don't know if I'm making any sense, guys. Sorry if this reading's not making any sense, but I just feel like we have this, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, I keep hearing pinpointed. It's this eye, too. It's like, and we may not even be consciously aware of this, is my feeling. That's why I feel like some of this could be unconscious or subconscious stuff being created for us and creating the shifts and changes in our life. And if we're in resistance to them, it's like resistance is futile, is what I'm hearing. You know, like don't resist this, because this is something that from deep inside you, you know you want it. You can feel it emotionally. You know you desire it. You may not consciously know you desire it, but you're definitely shooting off the desire rockets into the sphere or into the universe, and they're being responded to through this. So we need to remain grounded, make the decision, even juggle or pivot in moments when we need to, and move forward from a place of compassion, intuition, caring, mothering, nurturing, all of that stuff that the Chariot offers us, but also from a place of ownership and success, you know, celebration. Here is the grounding stone for the week. Take this week as a meditation. It is on obsidian, so to me, obsidian wards off negativity. It's going to ward off the hardship of that Tower card too. We need to meditate our way through this week. That's what this king is doing in the beginning of the week. He's kind of pondering, or like, you know, like making up his mind. He had one cup and it's in the past sort of, and he's like, is this really the right cup for me? This octopus, you know, it's spirit pulling him forward, but this could be some of the Tower in the later part of the week, right? The spirit, and it is ultimately for our own good. It's going to bring about another cup, a cup we didn't see, or a cup we were unaware of, that is out there for us, that we could potentially be creating and not even realize it. Stay grounded in this meditation. Clear your mind whenever you're in indecision or worry or watching things shift and change. Be inspired and allow that change to transform everything around you, and embrace that. Stay grounded and moving forward when you can, as you can. And I say that because I think that the Knight of Pentacles underneath this will indicate to us when to take the steps and where to take the steps as needed. The Nine of Pentacles, and it's all leading us to this Nine of Pentacles, this independence, this well-being, this grounded, secure sense of who we are. That's my feeling for this reading. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Please hit the thumbs up button if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel, share the video out, and leave me a question or comment. I look forward to seeing you guys all tomorrow to see how this energy changes. Let me know if this made sense to you guys, because it's kind of a bit of a strange reading. Have a wonderful day and take care. Meditate all this week, guys. All right, bye-bye.